A Fianna Fail councillor and by-election candidate has sharply criticised the party and its leader, Micheal Martin. David McGuinness ran in 2 by-elections for Fianna Fail in Dublin West, but last night he was beaten at a selection convention in the constituency by a younger candidate, Jack Chambers. His defeat came after an unseemly incident earlier this week when Jack Chambers threatened legal action over the moving of 9 votes into the constituency ahead of last night's convention. Chambers claimed the votes would have benefited McGuinness. Well, earlier I spoke to David McGuinness and I began by asking him how he felt this evening.
At the culmination, I ran in 2 by-elections for Fianna Fail in Dublin West. I came quite close to the Dáil seat on both occasions. My motivation was always to head towards the general election where there'll be 4 seats, and obviously I would have fancied my chances. I would have brought a considerable amount of personal life experience. I'm a mortgage holder, I'm a young father, and I've been teaching for close to 10 years. And I put that before the members of the party in Dublin West. You know, unfortunately, it didn't account for much. They didn't endorse my candidacy last night, and I'm now in this position where I haven't been selected by the party to go forward as a Fianna Fail general election candidate.
Were you surprised you weren't selected?
Not particularly. I think, certainly the electorate have supported me in topping the poll twice in Castleknock, and I pulled a considerable vote out of the other end of Blanchardstown, which would be traditionally non-Fianna Fail. But within Fianna Fail in Dublin West, within the party structure itself, I've always been on the brunt end of a class divide.
Sorry, of a class divide?
Yeah, I think there's people geographically located, namely down the far end of Castleknock, who just never endorse the fact that where I came from, I should be the candidate going forward in the Dáil. And that's not, let me put it a different way. I would have known this for a quite considerable period of time, but you don't want to discuss it, you don't want to reflect upon it, because the Fianna Fail I espouse and what I put before the people was one where all communities are equal and we fight for the betterment of families and communities. And the people of Dublin West endorsed me in that. But within Fianna Fail, the membership weren't going to let me go forward and be their Dáil candidate.
Is this diktat from HQ then?
I have no doubt that, headquarters played a role. I mean, you just look at what went on over the weekend and stuff like that, this idea of talking about gerrymandering and votes. From June 2013, those members were inadvertently removed from Fianna Fail Dublin West into Dublin Fingal, but they live in Dublin West. And from June 2013, officials in headquarters fully knew. I have correspondence, I have a paper trail around 6 correspondence going back to June 2013, where those members of the party were trying to retain their rights, their voting rights. This all came out right at the end, and then all of a sudden, and people last night went into vote, actually believing that David McGuinness had somehow readied up 9 votes and went to the media. And at no point did I go to the media in relation to that issue. It was actually done against me to try and dirty. And look, the point is, when you've got officials involved in this and you've got a mentality amongst the membership of the party, well, look, a young lad like myself doesn't really stand much of a chance.
But is this not sour grapes from David McGuinness, from you at this stage? Because you had a fair old innings from Fianna Fail. You contested the election in Dublin West in October 2011, a recent by-election as well. You did very well, but surely it's Fianna Fail's prerogative now to say new blood.
Absolutely, and that's what they did. And I'm just making the point that, from my point of view, Fianna Fail has left me and has left the politics that I'm espousing. And Dublin West, as a constituency, it's a very unique constituency, and the candidate needs to be able to pull from all areas. And the Fianna Fail party have endorsed not a guy like me. Like, I come from a working class background. I went on to Trinity College, got an education, became a teacher in a community that people usually do that, and went into politics and did really well by the party in those difficult years. And this was my one big opportunity, and it was taken from me. Yeah.
What's the difference between the politics that you espouse and the politics that Jack Chambers espouses?
Well, I don't want to run down anyone else, but the reality in Jack's candidacy, Jack's still living at home. He's still in college. He's a young guy, 23. I'm representing people who are losing their homes. I'm representing people who are trying to pay mortgages and try and keep a roof over their family's head. I'm trying to represent people who can't get work. And I've been working at this for 6 years. And I've built up a huge relationship with all cross-section of society across Dublin West. And people now will be looking at the situation. They'll be saying, why would David McGuinness get shafted by Fianna Fail after everything he's done for that party?
Did you have a chance yet to make your case, put your arguments to the leader, Micheal Martin?
I got a call off Micheal last night. It was a courtesy call, and I'm very thankful for the call. But I told him out straight. I said, I don't know where Fianna Fail is going. I don't know who they're trying to represent. I told him there and then. I said, there's going to be a huge cross-section of society across Dublin West. that will have serious reservations about voting for the party on this basis. And another thing I didn't get to articulate to him was the one thing that I think that the membership in that room last night actually had in common was that they were against me, but they're certainly against him. And I think with Fianna Fáil, we don't seem to have a strategy, don't see the vision for the party. I don't know who we're trying to target amongst the electorate, and I don't know how we're going to win back seats, particularly in Dublin, with this kind of approach to electoral politics.
You said that a majority of people in that room were against you, you say, but also Micheal Martin?
Yeah, well, look, I was on the convention campaign trail. I knocked on doors and I wrote out letters and I spoke to people on the telephone. And I was telling them I could win the seat. I have real life experience. I was telling them up for the party and I was saying, please don't turn your back on me on this occasion. Just give me this opportunity. But what I got back in return was that they had a difficulty with the direction the party was going, with the leadership of the party, and all of those issues were coming to the fore in discussing it. And it's a permanent feature at the meetings in Dublin West. But I think what has been exposed from last night is how certain people feel Fianna Fáil should go representing. I think Eamon McCreevy said it really well. We're either a Republican Party or we're an upper middle class party, and the people, the membership of Fianna Fáil in Dublin West, I think, clearly outlined their views on that question.
And the disquiet about Fianna Fáil's leader and leadership in that room last night, is it confined to that room or is it more widespread nationally?
By the way, I've always been an advocate for Micheal Martin. I think he's done good by this country in various different guises, particularly in health. He knocked the doors for me on 2 by-election campaigns, and from my point of view, I was fully supportive of him. And I think Micheal, in going into the next election and coming out of the next election, has to enter government for his own sake, but that's a separate issue, I think, for his own leadership. But fundamentally, the issue of Micheal leading the party is on the lips of every single member of Fianna Fáil in Dublin West.
What are your own options now?
The reality is that I'm questioning kind of where I am in life now at the moment because of this. As I say, I worked really hard over the recent years and gearing up towards the general election. That's not going to happen for me, certainly not within Fianna Fáil.
Would you run as an independent or with any other group?
When I first got involved in politics, and I fundamentally believe in the Fianna Fáil that I talk to the electorate about. And I do apologise for asking to vote for me within Fianna Fáil in the past, because that's not the prevailing view of what the party is doing. But the reason why I got involved in party politics was because it came with resources and it came with manpower. And that's something I will not have as an independent. And like I say, I'm not any other party. I wouldn't look to run with any other party. I can tell you that now. That's not my motivation at all. I am Fianna Fáil, but unfortunately the Fianna Fáil that I am, I think, has left me here in Dublin West. So I'm asking genuine questions.